afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday and welcome to Woodbine Racing Live. Elisa Flo alongside Jeff Bratt for what is a 10-race program here today. The on-track feature being race number 8, and that is the King Corey, where we will see both of the Josie Carroll fillies. Now, they were double entered into yesterday's stake as well. She opted to go into this race with both of them. I think it's a pretty wise move.
I think it was too, and you know what? We're going to take a look at that race from yesterday in a couple of minutes here on this show, and that turned out to be a terrific finish. But I don't think this race has come up as tough. And, you know, we had a very worthy winner yesterday, and I am very much looking forward to seeing Church and State. I think it was Ron Gierkenkor, our press corps here at Woodbine that does our stuff for our media team here on our website, that said with Church and State they missed the Woodstock because of a virus.
Yes, actually, I think that was Ron who wrote about that in the Daily Racing Forum, and I'm sure they're excited to get this horse into the races here today. But yeah, it'll be an exciting race. It's race number 8 on this afternoon's program. Speaking of exciting races, okay. Yesterday, when we were doing the pregame show with Robert, we were saying, remember a Fleet Alex?
Yeah.
And I had visions of a Fleet Alex yesterday when I watched the Preakness Stakes. It was amazing.
Yeah, unbelievable. Here is the horse right here with the purple cap and the white silks. And now you still think at this point of the race, you know, it's still too much ground to make up. It looks like Goskar's going to pull off the big upset, but journalism, this is how much the best this horse was. And you know what? The rider of journalism kind of bullied his way between horses there to kind of get that racing room. And turned out to be the winning move.
You know what was interesting? I was watching the NBC show. Obviously, you know, everybody wants to watch that because we get all the experts on that show.
Yeah, look at this right here.
In the this is amazing. First of all, it's amazing he stayed up. That nobody went down. Right? And I don't mean stayed up as an inquiry. I'm just saying he stayed up on his feet. But also, after the race was over and they were talking to Umberto Raposo, he said, help me out. I can't believe I'm forgetting this girl's name. That does the
Donna Barnes.
Donna Barton Brothers.
Yeah.
She says, by the way, there's an inquiry into the stretch drive, and you could just see his face, right? And he's trying to think, okay, well, hold on. And then she goes, oh, and it's okay, it's all official now. And you kind of, you won, you know. So it was quite exciting. I think the coolest part was you almost had a wire-to-wire winner in this Gosker horse. That was really interesting. The horse was 20-1 morning line, and even for our own Mark Cassey, very exciting. I really did start to, get excited for Sandman coming down the stretch as well, but journalism is just an amazing
I was actually
animal.
surprised with how quickly that inquiry sign came down.
Me too.
They did not look at it for very long, and Brendan Walsh had a case of second-itis in stake races yesterday here and down there with Gosker as well. But yeah, Sandman did run very, very well yet again. Journalism and sovereignty, wouldn't that be a nice little Belmont Stakes to have a little rematch in there?
You know what I didn't realize either was that Mike McCarthy had lost his home in the California wildfires. So, like he said, we'll rebuild. That's just, it's such an amazing story. And life is a real roller coaster, isn't it?
Ain't that the truth? But very, very worthy winner. And journalism is the real deal. And congratulations goes out to Connections with that performance.
Yesterday here was an interesting day too. Of course, we started it off with some thunderstorms and we had to keep the horses inside for a little slight delay, but then we were off to the races and Speed did very well on the program, and that's generally the case, Jeff, when we have rain.
Yeah, the one interesting thing with all this data that you see here on the board that I found very interesting was the fact that favorites only won one race yesterday. That was something that caught me a little bit off guard. Right? Yeah, Classy War at odds of 2-1, and the average win payout was $12.26. Our lowest winner was 2-1 on the board, and as a matter of fact, and Speed did well. The rail was a decent play. Speed. We did have a couple horses with outside trips that were able to have some success. Alpha Caden was one of those, and Gardner Gold. We've had a bunch of repeat winners now this week. We've had 3, right? We've had Brindy, Garnet Gold, and Gizmo's BFF.
That's true. Yes, we have had a few horses that have won a few races at the meet. Yesterday, our on-track feature was the Ruling Angel for $100,000, traveling 7/8 of a mile, and it was the Kelsey Danner Invader Brindy who comes up here and makes it a perfect 2 for 2 as far as stakes are concerned at Woodbine, and Sofia Vivez back aboard.
I thought Pietro had this horse on the outside, but just simply couldn't go by. And Social Code ran great. Shotgun Wedding was right there in the mix of things too, but I just what I love about this Brindy is just the fight that she's got. I mean, and just Sofia Vives off to a really good start this meet.
I know you're talking about the move from Pietro, but I think the Hoyt move was amazing. Like, look at this. That horse gallops out up on top. I put a big star behind that horse. I think we'll play that filly next start out.
Yeah, I know that. I was just talking after the race with Steve Flynn. He says, I can't wait to get that horse on the turf to go a mile with social code.
Okay,
so we'll see if maybe down the line that one's able to have some success. But Kelsey Danner, man, oh man, she is rolling right now here at Woodbine.
She is, yeah, and she doesn't even have a stable based here. She did last year. She brought a small string up here, but she's been shipping it. It's not a far ship. It's about 7-8 hours door to door. So we welcome her to bring horses here. And obviously, she had a second place finisher on the program yesterday as well. That was in the race after the stake. So yeah, a lot of fun to have the and actually the Turfway horses ran one too.
And you had a tremendous day handicapping yesterday. Job well done. You had a lot of nice winners yesterday. So congratulations goes out to you. Now, don't bounce today.
I might.
Don't bounce. You had a peak effort yesterday. I know it's a quick turnaround.
I know. I can't make any promises today, but yesterday was a good day at the office. All right, what did our clocker Ernie Perry have to say about this morning's workout? So this is actually very interesting. So he rated the track a 4 out of 5, but look at this move that he points out. He would give the edge to outside horses today, Jeff. That's a pretty bold statement.
It is, and we'll see if that trend does continue or not. You know, it can change from the morning to the afternoon. We know that. So he doesn't think the track is going to be like super fast today, but not slow by any means. And the one horse to watch, this horse will be a price beyond adversity because the Kathy Ranford barn does not get bet. I think they gelded this horse towards the end of last season, and he thinks this horse might run well when fresh. So that's a really good one because that's the type of horse that's probably going to be about 15-1, I would say, on the board.
Oh,
next
at
time.
least. And then, of course, he suggests the best wagering race of the day today is race number 6, and I would tend to agree in that maiden optional 40 where we have a really big group of 12 that will compete in there and some first-time starters in that race as well. So I think we'll keep our eye on what Ernie has to say. That's the very first time he's said that, where he thinks that the outside horses will have the advantage. So we'll keep our eye on that this afternoon, and we'll see how this track plays out. Like I said yesterday, very, very good as far as speed was concerned. We got a lot of topics to discuss on today's program, and we're going to start things off in race number 3 on today's card. Now, the third race is a $7,500 claimer, non-winners of 2 life, and will travel 7/8 of a mile. And you wanted to talk about a horse in this race who you think had a pretty tough trip last start out.
That's Ontario Holiday. I thought this was a really, really gutsy race. You know, you go up the inside. It's not the great place to be when you're kind of intimidated by a horse on your outside. And a lot of people are going to like what Coherence did in this race, and deservedly so. Coherence traveled a lot more ground than the eventual second place finisher did in this race. Let's highlight, first of all, here's looking Ontario Holiday, and then I'll highlight Coherence as well, because we kind of got to watch both these horses. So Coherence travels a lot further than our horse does, but I think this horse had to do a bit of a gutsier move coming up on the inside. And I've been really impressed with these Devin Gittins horses early on this meet. He won a race on Friday's program with Laughing Out Loud, and here we now coming up the inside here with Ontario Holiday, and the barn does do very well second time up. This is a tight spot, really tight up the inside in here. And look how far poor old Contrivance is here on the far outside, and or pardon me, Coherence on the far outside, and that's a tough beat for that inside horse. Runs really well, but just gets a little bit outfinished by a horse that was starting for the second time in the meet, and that was attestation for conditioner Ruth Ranos.
Yeah, and that might have given that guy a little bit of an edge, but we're all leaning towards the 9 with the exception of Ron, who's looking at Coherence in this spot. Coherence is a Bill Theranos horse, like you said. You showed the replay there, and Amanda Van Der Smeech will be back aboard in the Iron State. She had a tough beat yesterday on a Tiller horse earlier on in the program. So race number 3 on the card today, a $7,500 claimer, non-winners of 2 life. I think a lot of us taking a look at Ontario Holiday with Cavey Nichols. And it's hard to believe Cavey hasn't won a race yet.
True. And what do we do with Back River? Because the way Tiller's going right now, I know the comeback race wasn't great, but Tiller's horses are running well, man. So that might be another horse you want to give some consideration to as well.
This one's on that drop here today too. I actually included the horses in my top 4. So that gets us through the third race on the program. But now we're going to skip ahead to our next topic, which is an Olympic event. Our next topic, because when I saw this, I had a little giggle too. I know that Ellen J. Fox they're great with their names, obviously. And as soon as I saw this, I thought, definitely named after Simone Biles, this 4-year-old filly. Now, she obviously had something that kept her away from the races for a while because she isn't debuting until the age of 4. And this is actually a horse who was bred in Ireland. There's a lot of grass pedigree with Biles, who debuts today for the Josie Carroll outfit.
Just the pedigree makes you drool. I mean, the sire won the 2000 Guineas. The dam was a Group 3 winner in Ireland. This is a foaled Tiberius Thunder. But this horse shows works not only here, but down the States and Turfway in New York. Like, it's been all over the place. Why has it taken so long for this horse to make it to the races? That's the only thing that worries me. Obviously, you got to pay very close attention to these L&J Foxwood horses because they're so nicely bred, and more often than not, they're ready to go right off the bat as well. But that does worry me a tad, the fact that this is a horse that's taken a little while to make it to the races. By no means would I key this one on my pick 4 ticket, but if I get the right price, I might put a win wager on that one. Flashing Motor looks pretty good. You know what Flashing Motor is doing today? What? The blinker's going on, and we saw Classy War have a huge form reversal yesterday with those blinkers going on for Cassie.
And you mentioned that too, so that's a massive move when you play Mark Cassie. It's just something that you particularly like to play, but now I think we all better be keeping a little bit closer attention on that. So Biles, a top selection for many of us here in race number 5 on the program, where we kick off the Jackpot Paris Pick 6, which somebody got yesterday.
So that's right, and I guess you just have to win like 1,000 Olympic gold medals and you get a horse named after you. or in your case, just be a stalker of Rock and Mocko.
That's true. That is true. All right, next topic is overlap, which comes up for us in race number 6 on the program, and that's that optional $40,000 claimer with the big group of 12 that will compete. There's some firsters in this race. The 6 is a first-time starter, the 5, the 8, 9, and the 12. So lots of first-time starters in this race, and there's one that's a bit of a head case that we'll be watching for, and that's saying it lightly. The 6-horse Just Pray, who got loose last start out and ran around the racetrack for a little bit. I think it's all a mental game with that one. And I think you could go long shot shopping in this race, which is what I did. But first, let's hear about what you have to say.
Well, Just Pray. I saw the horse schooling after getting loose. Schooled last week, as a matter of fact. And we talked with Marty prior to the horse racing first time, and he said that. He goes, it's all kind of a mental game with that one. But this is a really loaded race. And I think the point that our producer Mike has put on the screen is, do you go with one of these experienced horses like a Mobila, who showed a little bit of a little bit of ability last season. She's so courageous. It could be a massive day for Mary Self. She's got her big course coming up a little bit later on in the program. And your first-time starter comes from a really nice family, this being Florida Vacation. This one's a full of Cara.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, Pietro Moran shows up on the horse here today as well. So there are definitely some real angles to play in this spot. And from a race placement point of view, the race office has put this in a perfect spot. It's part of the pick 5. It's part of the early pick 4. And it's part of the late pick 5 as well on the program here today as well.
Yeah, not an easy one. I was surprised to see that Doug went with the same horse as me, Florida Vacation. But there's a lot of little, I guess if you start to read between the lines, there's a lot of nice things to look at with Florida Vacation. And I saw her school in the paddock yesterday as well.
Yes,
she looked
that's
quite
right.
nice.
Yeah,
she looked quite nice. So that's race number 6 on the card. Our next topic comes up in race number 7, which I think, originally set up as a nice little race, but we have a couple of scratches in that event now too. The 7th race, where we kick off the late pick 4, will scratch the 3 Kokomo, a Stewart scratch, and a vet scratch of the 6-horse Super Dormy.
Changes the complexion of the race dramatically. It really, really does. I had Light the Lamp as my top pick. I just think the fact that Donnie went back in to get this horse back, and Light the Lamp, like we talked about Gizmo's BFF, and the fact I think the horse was 0 for 11 last year, and now it's 2 for 2 this year. Light the Lamp in 2023 was 5 of 9, and last year was 0 for 8. Can this horse get back on the beam a little bit? You can't discount John Ross right now. Giant Teddy lost a junior hot shot. No shame in losing to that one. And my kind of long shot in the race is Poseidon Steel, who does run well when fresh. But I think the biggest question mark of anybody is Cotton, who was so disappointing last time out.
Well, Cotton was bad in the paddock.
Yes.
That was number 1. And I think everybody will be ready for that one here today. And I just wonder if, again, it's kind of like that Just Pray horse, if maybe mentally that took its toll on him, because I don't think there was an excuse for him at all. I'll use him one more time, but not in the top spot. I'll reluctantly put him in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, this is like, if this is yesterday's track, like It's Time to Shine looks really good from the rail.
I would agree.
Really, really good. That's got a chance to kind of repeat in here. I'm just curious to see if Light the Lamp can get back on the beam. You know as well as I do that sometimes the best thing to do when you're having a bad year is just forget about about it, take a vacation, and come back.
Yeah.
And maybe they've done that with this horse.
That's a possibility.
And I hope the Leafs light the lamp a lot tonight as well. That is a hockey term, because back in the day, they used to have a goalie judge that used to press the button.
Oh, yeah?
When a goal went in and a red light would go on.
That'd be a great job for you in your retirement.
It's the best spot to watch a game, but now they don't have that job anymore, unfortunately. So that's where that term comes from. So surprise, surprise, Donnie.
I've learned something.
Donnie using a hockey term.
Unbelievable.
With a horse.
Yeah. Okay, race number 8 is our on-track feature race for the day today, the King Corey. Now, we talked about this right off of the top. Josie Carroll had cross-entered her horses, both of her fillies, and she opts to go here into the boys' race instead. I think it's a smart move, because this race certainly did come up a little easier than, we'll say, yesterday's stake did. There is a storyline with Church and State for Dale DeRusso. You know, Dale doesn't generally go south for the winter. At least I haven't seen him go south. He took this horse down to Turfway and raced there back in the month of January. And, you know, scratched out of the Woodstock, was a vet scratch that day. Ron Geerkink did write about it in the Daily Racing Form, as you mentioned. The horse was certainly battling some type of a virus, but he's excited about the horse and he likes the most recent work.
And in that article too, Ron was mentioning in the quote with Dale the fact that, you know, it was such a tough winter that they missed some training with the horse. The track was a little bit deeper than usual, so that didn't help out the situation as well. Hibiscus is kind of a highly thought of horse for L&J Foxwood. Does not get a great draw today. Was a little bit rank, I thought, in the first career start down at Keeneland. You got Madame Obey, who I like a little bit in here. Thunder, I think, will appreciate the extra distance in this spot. Graffiti Rider, yet another purchase courtesy of Zilly Racing Stable. But I want to focus in on a replay here with Incoming. Now, I don't know if Incoming's good enough to win this race here today, but I'll tell you, he had a tough day at the office last time, and he got bumped around the entire race. And watch the 5 coming out of the gate here. So we have it highlighted for you right now. We're going to show this to you twice. And it's one of those situations, like, do you ever walk, like, if you're in a crowd or whatever, like Union Station or something, and somebody just like bumps into you, you're like, oh, thanks, that's great. No need to apologize or say excuse me, but we'll show it to you one more time, a little bit slower. But this horse gets bumped pretty good coming out of the gate in here. So the 6 kind of breaks out, and here's a look at our horse right here, and all of a sudden we're gonna get the old sandwich-a-roo, and it's like, oh, okay, now we gotta take up a little bit. And then we get to a later portion of the race, and as I said, Incoming was never gonna win the race, but watch this, the winner is right on the inside of us in here with the orange cap, and that's Mansetti. And watch here, we get carried out here. Whoa! So poor Incoming, you know, probably that was a bit of an acid test for the horse, but he proved that he belonged in that most recent race when finishing in the 4th place position. So he's definitely going in the right direction right now, and I just kind of hope for him he has a bit more of a more kind trip today.
Well, I think the horse gets back to the barn last time out and says to Gail, Gail, you won't believe what happened to me.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, for that reason, I think we could take a second look on that horse this afternoon. I went to Church and State. Like I said, I think this horse is really highly spoken about going into the Woodstock. Now, the only thing is this virus completely out of this horse's system? You know, I got sucked into that a couple of times over the winter months at Mohawk with horses that, you know, had scoped and had, you know, mucus, and then they just weren't able to get it cleared up. Now, the other thing too is, and we've talked about this a lot, especially on the harness show because of where it's located, but allergies have been really tricky here this season too. I'm not, you know, virus and an allergy are two different things, but certainly the allergies are taking their toll.
Brutal right now for sure. But I really hope that Church and State does get back on track, because that's a lovely horse for that outfit.
Race number 9 on the program is our next topic of the day today, as we talk about Mary Self's horse, No More Options, who did incredibly well last season after competing in the King's Plate. You know, regardless, we knew the horse was going into the King's Plate after the first win of the season, because, you know, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for Mary and her father, Zelko Kretschmer. You know, Ryan Munger has taken over the riding duties on this horse since the fall, and they've had a really good go of things, including this effort in the steady growth, Jeff, and this was against older horses when this guy was only 3.
Best race I've ever seen him run. He ran so good on this day. It was a bit of a tough beat, as a matter of fact. I mean, you're facing some really good horses in this particular occasion. Ron's Gizmo, who was so good towards the back half of last year. Secret Reserve. They're both older horses in here. And right now, you know, you're kind of coming off the rail a little bit, and you're thinking, man, oh man, we might actually get a huge portion of this prize in here. And I think that Ryan was probably a little bit excited this portion of the race too. But man, Ron's Gizmo's tough. He's a tough older horse to go by. Really tough horse, and he's going to eventually win this race on the far outside. But poor No More Options, you know, he gets a 90 Beyer speed figure and he loses the race. You know, that's the best race he's ever run. Now, I am going to one-up Robert in here because he is the king of the pictures.
The selfies.
The selfies. But I had a chance to go down to Florida and visit No More Options. And I saw him in February, and I took a picture of him because you would think with him being off for a couple months at that point, he would lose a lot of muscle tone and stuff like that.
He's a young guy.
Nothing. And he grew.
Yeah.
Wait to see this picture.
He's like a teenager.
Right now. So this is look at that.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah. He's copyright for the world photographer, Jeff Pratt. But he looked fantastic.
I'm surprised you didn't hop on, Jeff. Go for a little ride.
He was more interested in carrots than anything else.
No, you know, they're young. When they're young, they don't lose that kind of muscle tone. When they're older, absolutely. But look, I got a 21-year-old at home who sometimes looks like he's 5. So, you know, it's all about how you feed them and how you look after them. And obviously, they've done a good job with that horse. I actually put No More Options up on top. I'm the brave one today. And the reason is I just want to see, like, that last race was spectacular. I just want to see what he does today. And Robert, of course, over to visit as well. He's got carrots in his pocket. That's what that's all about. But you know who we didn't talk about in this race quickly is one of our favorites to play, and that's Ricky Bobby.
Yes.
Arabian Prince, who is back here after finally getting a win last season.
7 furlongs, a bit of a question mark for him. He's never gone that far in terms of a winning effort. I like Junior Hotshot. I think the strong horse
Junior Hotshot's a nice horse too.
Now.
Yep, absolutely. So this is a great race. Race number
really
9.
good.
Even though it's a smaller group of horses, it certainly is a very good race.
I think Robert beat me with his photo.
No, well, if you would have got in there.
Yeah, well, I was.
You know, with your shorts and your sunscreen on and your hat.
My 100 sunscreen.
Alrighty, race number 10 on the program today. Of course, where we play the Jackpot High Five, and that is certainly growing. We're well over $40,000 in the pool. It's an optional 10, 5-starter. You're going to get a bigger group in this race, and I'm doing kind of similar to taking No More Options in the 9th race, who's making his first start of the year, and it's just a horse I really enjoyed watching last year. I'm going to take good old Bachelor Pad for his first start of the season. I know he tailed off last year, but early in the season, he was, basically an ATM machine for Norm. He just entered the card, boop, 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 and got a check every time.
He's the horse to beat. He is the horse to beat. And Super Success scratching helps him out. Helps out everybody in this race, as a matter of fact. So Bachelor Pad's going to be tough. He did take he took one race to get going last year. But that's the only thing that worries me a little bit. I'm going to go towards the long pond. It's a bit of a guess. There's a lot of pace to chase in the spots. So I'm hoping that maybe he can mow them all down late in here. But I definitely respect Bachelor Pad. And I'll tell you who I'm really scared of in here. And had the horse drawn better, I'd probably put the horse on top as Mannix.
You were worried about that.
I am really worried about Mannix in here. And Scott Fairley had a horse, so-called Vacation, run really well yesterday here at Woodbine.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
Couldn't beat your horse in the last, but not many horses could beat your picks yesterday. So.
I love it. I love it when I have a good day.
You schooled me. You absolutely schooled me yesterday.
Well, listen, like you said, I might bounce today. I can't guarantee it. I've picked a few horses that I think are going to be prices.
That's good.
We'll see. And hey, well, the ones that we had yesterday, some of those were prices as well. So that's the important part, not all chalk. All right, so we are through the 10 races on today's card. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about plays of the day and, of course, our pick 4.
Love horse racing? HPIBet.com is Canada's leader in online horse betting. Access thousands of live races from hundreds of tracks worldwide instantly. Enjoy the most advanced betting tools like AI Smart Picks and exclusive cashback rewards you won't get anywhere else. Join today and get up to $100 in free bets. Get the ultimate horse betting experience with HPIBet.com.
This is the biggest race in the world. Pinch me, I think I'm dreaming. They're all in the Dubai World Cup.
And they're into the stretch. Two of the great racehorses in the world. Giant Killer, by name and by nature. A race for the ages.
Welcome back inside the studios. We get set for 10 races on a Sunday afternoon. That means it's TGIF for us, Jeff.
It is.
It is the Friday for everybody here at Woodbine because a lot of barns take tomorrow off. It's a walk day for a lot of outfits. It's a walk day for Jeff. And of course, tonight you're going to be really busy because you have an important game to watch.
Yeah, I got to do my pregame stretches, my rituals, and all that stuff. I'm hoping some of our plays of the day are successful, though, today. We're able to cash some tickets.
Yeah, we have a few different ones for you on today's program, and we'll start things off with Mr. Brett.
Alrighty, so I'm going to go with Sammy Stone. That's going to be a bit of a price play coming up for race number 2. If you watch some of these horses that Tiller has taken over, they've run very, very well. And I think with Sammy Stone, they placed the horse in a great spot. Biles, I'm going to see the tote board. If I get like 9-2, I might put a couple bucks to win on that one. The first time factor is just pray. Obviously, we have to watch that horse with the pre-race antics.
I think they'll be praying.
Yeah. They're only appropriate the horse racing on a Sunday. And my best bet of the day is going to be Junior Hotshot coming up in race number 9 on the program. So I got 2, 5, 6, and 9.
Alrighty, I've got this horse in the first race for Barb Minchell. This is a second time starter. This is my best bet because I don't really see very much else in the opener on the program. Biles is my price play, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get a price on this horse because I think a lot of people will obviously look at that first time starter. I like this Florida Vacation at a price today. I suggest using that horse as a long shot in some of your exotics, and I'm going to just take a flyer on no more options and just go win and see if this horse can do it here today. First of all, I need my, if it happens to work and this horse wins, Mary better send me a no more options hat because you probably have one, right?
I do not.
Oh,
I do not.
Shocking. Thundering, a top selection at 9-5 for Ron Gierkink in the feature race for the day today, and Junior Hotshot, a top selection for Doug McPherson, which comes up in race number 9 on the program. I think there's some good value on today's card too, Jeff. You know, we have some bigger fields on today's program, and I got to tell you something. Normally, Jeff and I, when we're doing our pick 4, we can find at least one horse that we agree on. But we had a really tough time today.
And it was kind of heated, you know.
We had a little bit of a fight.
We had a little tiff. I said, well, I really want to use this horse. And he said, I really want to use this horse. And we got the ticket down to $14.40. We did not use La Belva, as that one will be coming up for Gordy Colburn in race number 6. We probably should have tossed that one in at a price, but it's 20-1. Mannix is the one that we touched on a little bit later on the program that might be ready to go right at first asking. Does not get the best of draws. The one scratch might help out the situation here today, starting from post position number 11. But yeah, when it comes to pick 4, I think, knock on wood, I think we have the 4th race covered. I think we're okay with that race. It's the rest of them, things get a little dicey.
Yeah, so in the 4th race, you know, I like this Theranos horse, My Boy Bruce. We're going to use that one, right?
Yep.
We are also using Humber River, which is your top selection in that race as well. And I'm sorry, Jeff, I did not bring
We got Country Living as well, and we're going to use Go-Kart Mozart. We got 2, 4, 5, and 8. We got both Tillers in there. We've got your top pick, and we're going to toss in Dales with Country Living.
And then in the 5th race, so the second leg, we have to use this Biles horse because we both agree on that one. I don't mind this Miss Demanding horse for Steve Flint today either.
Yeah, we'll toss that one in. Flash and Miller, because one of our favorite angles with the blinkers going on for Conditioner Marcassi.
And then the 6th race, of course, that's that tough one where we have a really big group of maidens competing, and I think we need to go fairly deep. We're a little concerned about the 6, you know, and the pre-race antics, of course. I like this 9 horse at 8-1. I'd like to include that horse as well.
Yeah, this is the race that scares me. I mean, it's a full field of 12, and we're only going 3 deep in here. The other one we're going to toss in there is Mobila for Conditioner Nathan Squires. You mentioned when we were doing our debate, the names this horse ran against last year, and you're right. I mean, the horse was in some very, very salty competition, even with the drop last season. I mean, DeWolf, that's a pretty nice horse that you're running against.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in the 7th race, even though we have a smaller group, we're using the 5 and we're using the 8.
Yeah, those are our 2 top picks.
Yeah, because we had to get a little skinny.
Yeah, we wanted to use more, but we couldn't.
In a perfect world, if we had hit the pick 4 earlier on this week and we had a little bit of money to play with,
kitty?
We probably would have gone with a few more options in this ticket. But here we go. This is what we have. So we'll play it for 20 cents. This gives you a ticket for $14.40 if you have a friend and you want to split it. Or, of course, maybe take a look at some other horses to add into that ticket if you got a little bit more money to spend on the pick 4. So it's going to be a tough one, I think, to get through on this afternoon's program. Now, as we mentioned, today is our Friday in the horse racing industry. You know, a lot of people take tomorrow off. It's a walk day in a lot of barns. But we are back on Thursday, Jeff.
Yes.
With a new post time.
And a very good looking allowance race that will be our feature race of the day. You've got Ironstone, you've got Kevin Attar represented in that race with I'm a Gambler. And we'll have the pregame show for you by 2:10. First race post time will be at 3 p.m. And then we're back with Friday and Saturday and Sunday racing at 1:05.
Jeff, I think right now it's safe to say I'm going to ask you what time the pregame show starts on Thursday for at least the next 6 weeks.
No problem.
You know, we have to back time our travel as well.
Right.
You know, my
snacks.
Uber isn't available this Thursday.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
That's
So
right.
yes, it is going to be busy as we go back to 4 days of racing for the remainder of the season. Well, there you go. That's what we have in store for you today. 10 races in total, an on-track feature which will go as, come on, Jeff, as race number 7.
I want to be in the camera shot too.
Good luck with your selections today.